name's Betty Cagle. I have a small event planning company called Redbird Events based in Smyrna. I've been planning events for about 16 years, and about a year and a half ago I was offered an opportunity to plan a food truck night in Virginia Highlands, right off of Highland. And this is the third year that it had been there, and we had a great experience, and I loved being a part of the community. While that was going on, I've lived in the Atlanta area my entire life. So what we did was we went to the city of Smyrna and said, hey, can we do something like this here? It was a different concept because we moved it to a park, which was very different than the parking lots or the food truck park that you go to, where you're constricted to sitting down at a bench and maybe sitting at gravel, while still being able to commune with neighbors and friends and have a good time, with the ability to eat anything that you wanted, no matter who you were with, everybody could be pleased, as well as having some music available for entertainment. We started this event last year on July 11th in Smyrna, and it was a raging success. It went very, very well, and I believe that this was due to the location of the event. The event did so well because we were in a 10-acre park, Taylor Bronner Hall, and there was a lot of green space for the community to get together. The demographics spanned from small children to elderly couples that walked with their children to get to the event every week. We did every Tuesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. We had over 1,000 people at every event. It was a positive local networking event as well as a community building event. I saw more children than I ever knew that actually lived in my town and in my community, and I think we can bring the same thing here. Now, while we proposed having a concert series initially, as Bill mentioned, we didn't necessarily get the support to pay the acts or maybe the quality of acts that you may request if you had a special concert evening. Well, in this case, what we could do is bring people to the park and bring artists to the park for free. Now, I booked all the artists for the event in Smyrna, which there's a small built-in amphitheater there. Each artist came in, played for free. I bought their dinner. And they played about 3-hour sets. Now, the quality of the musicians, of course, varied. The types of bands varied. But it was a very good community event that brought everyone together and gave an entertainment aspect to this food truck night.
Betty, if I remember right, was that 18 different bands over 22 weeks?
I'd say we ended up with 20 weeks. We only had one cancellation due to rain. But we had about 15 bands.
15 bands?
Yes, sir. We had a few people that played multiple times, people that were local and close to the community that were happy to come back. If they, what they were able to do is basically come set up, get some exposure, and enjoy the night. And what we found was it was a great success. It wasn't just a good success for the city, but also for exposure for the parks and for the community to have something different to do. We proposed this night initially for, a full series. But I think what we should do in this case at Brook Park, which is where I'm proposing we have this event that already has enough parking, restrooms available, garbage facilities, as well as it's well known within the community already. It's a beautiful park, and it's a great place for people to get together. I don't think that we'll run into any issues with any kind of noise ordinance because we're not talking about big, large bands that will have much production. We're talking about acoustics that may bring their own amplifier there and PA system, as well as smaller brands that are going to bring their own their own equipment. So in this case, what we'll be doing is bringing in, I would say initially, 5 to 6 trucks to see how the event goes. This would be a litmus test. We would do this for 12 weeks. With that success, we would like to go further. And what I'm looking for here is just the support of the Dunwoody Homeowners Association to take this to the city.
Now, one of the things that I understand from your experience in Smyrna is the first year in Smyrna, you basically did this, exactly what you're proposing for Brook Run.
Absolutely.
For the second year in Smyrna, because you had a track record, you were able to go out and drum up some sponsors from the local community so that's going to give you a bigger budget for entertainment this year.
Yes, so now we're going to have the ability to book, of course, better bands.
And it's a lot easier to get sponsors when you have a proven something.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason for the 12-week test.
Right, and I'd like the support of the city to provide the city services, which would be garbage and traffic control if needed.
That's something that the Homeowners Association, if we sponsor this, then we can approach the city for, under the standard policy, to ask the city if they will list it as one of their premier events.
Absolutely.
Basically co-sponsor without the city putting any money up. It would be some in-kind services, cleanup, crowd control. Mm-hmm. Those are the only two issues that we could go to the city. If the organization agrees to sponsor this and receive the 10% of the revenue, then we can go to the city and see if we can get the city to buy into it as well.
Well, and there was a charitable donation portion of this, which is what we're talking
Right,
about
10%.
here is we donate, or every event that I've done, I donate 10% to a local nonprofit, something that's going to speak to your community. So that's something that I've been working with Bill on. Our initial contact was September of last year. We had already seen the success in Smyrna, but you know, it takes time to get the ordinances, which has just happened in the city of Smyrna. They've approved a food truck ordinance, mobile vending, which I know everyone is in the process of currently.
We don't have one in place yet, but given a special event within a city park, it wouldn't be the same sort of issue.
Okay. We had great success. I work with the brick and mortar restaurants as well. I want to speak with them and I want to make sure that they're comfortable. Now that we had a great successful season the first year, I'm creating a mobile app for Smyrna Food Truck Tuesdays. And so that way I can build in local businesses and local brick and mortars so that we have bounce back marketing opportunities. So maybe we are drawing a large group of people into Dunwoody and from around each neighborhood to come and attend this event, but we want to have them come back to have an experience in Dunwoody. This isn't just about food trucks are the new and cool things. Obviously, if we're drawing from your community, there has to be something that we're giving back. So the two things that are absolutely very important to me is keeping this a pure community event, making a charitable donation every week, and involving local businesses, bricks and mortars.
Right. And this would be on a Thursday night.
Yes, so the proposal is Thursday evenings from 6 to 9 p.m. for 12 weeks. This would be, of course, upon approval with the Dunwoody HOA as well as the Dunwoody City Council. Question? Adrian.
Hi. You mentioned that you did an event like this in Smyrna.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the other one?
Virginia Highlands.
Virginia Highlands, right.
Yes.
When you proposed these events and put them on, were there any other organizations in these areas putting on music or other type of public gathering events?
Well, Virginia Highlands, of course. I mean, there's something going on there every night of the week at many different parks. So that absolutely was happening. In Smyrna, there are many festivals that go on as well, not during a weeknight necessarily. So this is a little bit of a different feature because what this does is gets people out on a weeknight to be with other people in their
You
neighborhood.
mentioned the DHA. You also mentioned City Council or
Yes.
City Hall. You didn't mention the Dunwoody Chamber of Commerce. Were you aware that they're going to be putting on a series of events called Dunwoody at Dusk, which is also going to be a weeknight type event?
Is that at the
I believe
Nature
those
Center?
are scheduled for Friday nights at 4 different
Wow, what a huge
locations.
difference. Oh my God. Are you concerned that maybe there's going to be some competition between your organization and one that's based in Dunwoody?
Currently, I don't know that anyone has proposed that. Like I said, I contacted Bill because someone in your community suggested that I do that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people saying, oh, music festival, ooh, me too, me too, me too. Did you also
Right.
know the Nature Center also has a,
The
Right.
Nature Center has something that goes on 6 Saturday nights during the season. Brett, I believe you're the lead on the chamber event. And do you have dates locked in yet?
No, we do not, and I'm not the lead on the chamber event, by the way.
Oh, okay.
You are now.
Chamber board members, you have the chairman of the board here, and, it's like, how do those things fit together? Because you're gonna be drawing from the same relatively finite pool of, not only residents in the area who would potentially attend this.
Actually, the chamber people can speak to it, because last
We-
we heard it wasn't.
We have not seen any presentation to the board.
We have not
Dick
seen-
Williams,
we have
Brett
not
Morris, and
solidified.
myself are all on the board, and we have not seen anything presented yet.
We don't.
It's just been talked about,
It's
so.
a concept, it's not a.
Yeah, exactly. So if this ends up at the forefront, my theory is their
So
effort
you wanna
gains.
rush this through to beat out the chamber?
I'm not trying to say that.
No,
I'm
no,
just saying-
I was to
I'm
say
gonna
this
do
is
one.
definitely
Oh,
not
really?
real.
Well,
Find
there
out.
you
You
go.
have to run a bunch.
Wait,
right?
no,
So-
Wait, Bob has his hand up, Bob.
With all due respect to the chamber, this is the same silly argument that Danny Ross used when we had Lemonade Days and he didn't want the Arts Festival to appear on May because it would take away from the Dunwoody Lemonade Days.
Correct.
Right.
Who
Correct.
cares?
Yeah, and-
If they can get off the out of the box and they can schedule their stuff to do it, and the chamber can schedule, we're not here to protect the Chamber of Commerce.
And to be clear,
And
we're not
here
trying to rush
them.
this. This has been our agenda 2 months in a row now. We've certainly been in contact with chamber people.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Debbies and.
The thing about the chamber event is the chamber event, I believe, is my understanding, they're trying to take care of the stores and the restaurants in that area that are hopefully potential chamber members or chamber members. So this is, this is a totally different animal. And so I agree with Bob, meaning there's plenty of room in this city to have, another music.
As I understand it, what's proposed for the chamber would change location every time.
Correct.
It would, and basically highlight a particular strip shopping center, shall we say. What Betty's proposing for every Thursday night at Brook Run is a different animal.
Yeah.
It absolutely
Yeah.
is. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't mean to interrupt you.
I mean, I just, it is. I mean, it's different. I mean,
These nights are happening, and it's one of those things that if you don't see what happens at these events, you can't understand how much has come from this for our community, publicity-wise, for Parks and Recreation. It's improved the attendance to all of the festivals that I've been a part of, with the brick and mortar as well as the City of Smyrna festivals. And I find that people come from different areas of town. If you want a food truck on a specific night, and they happen to be in Dunwoody, that's where you're gonna go. So we're gonna draw from a larger group as well. There is another night that's gonna be happening in Alpharetta on Thursday nights. Nobody I know that lives, closer to inside the perimeter are gonna drive to Alpharetta for an event like this.
Well, we're not talking Alpharetta versus.
Oh, absolutely. No, I just wanted to let you know that there was another, there are other cities that are doing this, and I think that there's a real ability to capture additional folks coming in and serve the community.
Chambly's doing this at Chambly Plaza, but I'm not sure what the,
It's Food Truck Fridays at Chambly Plaza.
okay.
They do that for lunch.
Correct, and it's just lunchtime hours.
Just one time.
Any other questions? Betty, thank you.
Thank you.